Hey guys, Viking 82 here, back with a new Viking Orations. Got yet another review for you today, and this time I'm going to be telling you about the brand new EP from the band Hatesong, entitled Blood Stains the Blackest Circle, out now digitally through the band themselves. And if you're not familiar with Hatesong, they are a black metal band with some crust elements out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Been around since 2016, featuring Nick Ultra Jensen on the drums, Ken Stinson handling guitars and backing vocals, Brett Kraut on guitars and lead vocals, and his brother Joshua Kraut handling bass and backing vocals. All three of those guys are actually former members of another killer black metal band called Hordes of Nebula. Now, this is the band's third EP overall. It is just 2 tracks and just a little under 9 minutes in length. And funny enough, the band decided to announce this EP fully literally minutes after I finished uploading my last video when I was talking about indie metal of 2024 and what we can expect. I had said in that video that they had announced that something was coming, but they didn't give us any details. And literally, the minute that video was done, a few minutes later, they announced what they were going to be releasing. And yeah, talk about timing. But yeah, I actually discovered this black metal horde with their 2018 EP Unholy Shit and soon became a fan. And then their 2021 debut album Chapel Rats was just as strong of a release, I felt. So after a 3-year silence, the band finally decided to emerge from the shadows and give us this EP to not only let us know that they're still around, but also to kind of tide us over while they work on their next full-length album. And right off the bat, the bass is nice and thick with a little bit of a twang to it, right up in the mix, very easily heard throughout both tracks. The guitars have that slightly raw tone to them, but still with a nice crunch as well. And both of these songs kind of have like a different, rhythm and a different flow and a different sound, if you will. Track number 1, Forever Blackfire, that has this nice mid-paced crunchy groove going for it, yet with that old school black metal feel kind of shining through. And honestly, the rhythm to this song, especially the way the guitars interact with the bass and everything, has this mayhem feel to it. I was kind of getting vibes from, like, I want to say maybe Necrolust off of the Death Crush EP. That's kind of what I was getting from it. And then the second track, Moontide. Now, this song is actually the more traditional old school black metal sounding of the EP, with its tremolo picked riffs, really bringing to mind old school Immortal. So yeah, 2 different styles, or different sounds, I should say, but both absolutely killer. Nick's drums have some oomph to them in terms of the production. The kicks in particular sound nice and thick. And while he does a more simplistic kind of rhythm on the opening track, the follow-up is where he really shines with some absolutely sick blast beats and some nice double bass thrown in here and there. Really dug his drumming. Vocally, Brett utilizes his just absolutely sick, raspy snarl that he's known for. But we also get clean vocals introduced for the first time in this band, which is something I never thought I would see. And they kind of have, for lack of a better term, like this almost epic feel to them. Kind of reminded me of how Matthias Blad, the former singer of Falconer, how he sings. That's kind of what I was getting when I was listening to it. I was just like, wow, this is something different. This is kind of cool. Yeah, now here's a couple interesting things about these 2 songs, though. These actually are not new songs, and I did not know that going into this. In fact, Moontide was written by Brett years ago for a band that he was in. Then Hordes of Nebula actually recorded it. And then now Hatesong have kind of put their stamp onto it and made their own version of the song. And similarly, Forever Blackfire was actually on the Unholy Shit EP, but they just decided to re-record it with this current lineup. And how I did not figure that out right off the bat, I do not know. I must have just had my head up my ass. I don't know. Now, the other thing about these songs is that they were actually recorded live at the 1857 studios with the band, all in a room, just jamming out the songs, with no overdubs or anything. Just what you hear is what you get. And here we have the final product. And they've actually been recorded for a couple of years now, and they just didn't know what they wanted to do with them. And like I said, they just decided now is a good time to put these out there and say, hey, look, we're still around. We got some new stuff coming. This should hold you over until then. And overall, I think this is a pretty solid EP, even being just 2 songs and re-recordings for that matter. But it's nice to at least have something new, some new blood, if you will, to tide us over until we can get a new album. I would give this a solid 8 out of 10. Both killer tracks, in my opinion. And a couple things I want to add here at the end of this video, because I was actually talking to Brett recently. The band is actually really wanting to eventually release this physically. And I know some people say, well, why were you going to put two songs on a CD? It seems kind of a waste. But yeah, I agree. I've got a couple, EPs that are like that. But what they're wanting to do is actually tack on as bonus tracks a live show that they recorded at Black Circle on November 26th of 2021. And, Black Circle is basically the hub for Indianapolis metal shows, really. It's definitely one of the biggest venues in terms of, popularity for shows to go to. And it actually makes this EP's title a little bit more appropriate, I think, because technically we're getting some new blood, and then you combine the new songs with this live show at Black Circle, Blood Stains, the Blackest Circle. At least in my weird mind, that's what I think. I think it works. And then the other thing is that, despite a multitude of setbacks, the band is currently working on a new album and are hoping for a summer release if all goes well. And they can actually get some time to get together and record it. And hopefully they do, because I would really love to hear a new album from these guys, especially with this lineup. Yeah, that is going to do it. Go check out Hatesong. I will be leaving a link down below to their Bandcamp so you can check this out for yourself and their other stuff. This EP is a name your price download, so have at it if you like it. And yeah, that is going to do it. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing. And until next time, stay brutal.